clear? Hare Krishna, Sandeep Prabhu. So, what you can do is you could dial it. And then, do you remember the number for the program? No. Okay, so yeah, Hare Krishna. So I think in a minute we will start. So how are everybody? Good? Yeah, it is good, bro. I went to doctor and doctor didn't give anything to me. He said it is improving, so why you want to take? So he asked me to wait another 48 hours. So he didn't give anything, just went, he checked everything, he's saying, no, I will not give anything to you. Yeah. So, so everybody is ready for New Year. And we have a big program on 31st. So Matajis may be in, spending more time in cooking and doing a lot of preparations. And a lot of devotees, as these are last 2 days of book distribution. So a lot of devotees are full, what do you say, like with energy and vigor, they are going out and doing. It's very good. So everybody is aware that Saturday we have a program. So starting from 7 o'clock at MVCC. Last year it was a lot of fun. So I am hoping this year also it will be same. Especially for kids, a lot of activities were there last year. They had quiz, they had games. Even for Prabhuji's, Mataji's, there were games, and then lot of prasadam. Not what you see in regular Sunday program prasadam, but different varieties, different courses. So it will be a good New Year's Eve, and then best way to start our new year by seeing lords and divine couples, taking divine couples darshan and blessings, and with all devotees we start a new year. So it is a different experience. No, it will go up till after 12. Yeah, so we will welcome new year there with all with devotees and with arti. Last that 12 o'clock we'll have arti. Yeah, so it will go till 12:15, 12:30, something like that. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, around that. Usually we saw 30 minutes, then everybody will wrap up and finish. Okay, so we'll start. So this is chapter 2, as everybody knows. Last 3 weeks we were doing chapter 2. We covered most of chapter 2. Now we are in the end or last part of chapter 2, right? So which is verse 54 to 72. So everybody is aware about this yellow and blue table. I hope till now we saw many times, so everybody is aware. So we are in the last band of Sthita Prajna. So that is what we will be covering now. So what exactly is Sthita Prajna, right? So we will start with 2.5. 5-4. Please repeat after me. Arjuna uvacha स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव स्थितधीः किं प्रभाषेत किम आसीत् व्रजेत किम. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? So, very important questions, right? Because if you see last few verses of chapter 2, we were discussing about, if you remember last class, we were discussing about that actually what is samadhi, what is, ultimate consciousness. And now, if you remember, we were trying to give an analogy of tree, right? Sankhya Yoga will help you to find out the root of the tree. Then, Karma Yoga is telling you that you have to water the tree. Now, the next question Arjuna is asking, that I want to know who does this, how that person looks. Very practical question, right? Being a practical or being a sincere seeker, Arjuna is asking, if I want to know somebody out there, how I can find this person. So this is the question. So if you see the table which I have given in slide 3, these are the 4 questions Arjuna is asking. Then one by one, Krishna will answer them. So the first question is, what are the general symptoms? Right? Because Arjuna wants to know this person. Right? Usually what we do, right, in like everybody else, hope nobody's disturbed about this. I have some message coming here, but you are not seeing that. That's fine. It's on the other screen. So symptoms. So if you see that Arjuna is want to know, as I mentioned. So if you see in general terms also, if anybody is rich, we know there are some symptoms. If anybody is diseased, we know there are some symptoms. Then anybody is some specific characteristics. There are some characteristics that you will not easily find, but still you can make it out. So for Sthita Prajna, you want to find out what are those symptoms. So Sthita Prajna, everybody is aware what is Sthita Prajna? Sthita is basically your consciousness, a higher consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness. And Prajna is steady. So he is who is steady in Krishna consciousness. Right? Now, if you see other questions, he is asking, how does he speak? Right? Now, Arjuna wants to know how does he speak. But there is more to it. Right? Our acharyas are saying, Arjuna definitely wants to know how that person wants to speak. But in addition to that, there is a deeper meaning to it. The acharyas are telling what exactly that means. Speech, right, is very important. What they say, that we will know whether that person is intelligent or foolish once he opens his mouth. Right? So speech is very important. So we wanted to know that how exactly he reacts to different conditions. Right? So the deeper meaning is, if somebody is very loving to him, to that Sthita Prajna, how he reacts. If somebody is very angry or neutral to him, how exactly he reacts. Right? So second question, in reality third question is, how does he sit? So Arjuna definitely want to know that how he sit. But the deeper meaning to it is, what is sitting? Sitting means actually we are restraining some things. We are not actively involved on anything. We are restraining and sitting at one place. So he wants to know how he restrain the senses from sense objects. How exactly he does. The last question is, how does he walk? So walking is, Arjuna wants to know how he uses his hands, how he uses his legs. The deeper meaning is that how exactly he engages his senses. Okay? Because walking is very active, right? So he is doing lot of things. So how exactly he engages his senses? Yeah. So these are very important questions, so that it will tell us a person, sthita prajna, how we can find out. Right? So let's see how Krishna is answering one by one. So 2.55. So if somebody can read translation. Okay. So if you see here, there are two things which I have listed. If you see the screen, right? There is no satisfaction in worldly pleasures. So what exactly is worldly pleasures? Okay? Everybody is aware what is worldly pleasure, right? Is pleasure to our senses. So his characteristics or symptom is he doesn't have any satisfaction for worldly pleasure, right? What exactly or how he has reached to that? If we want to do it, how we can do it? After no, but this is other way around, right? Frustration is basically you are trying to get, and that is also Krishna has explained in further verses, right? Where how we reach to that stage. But here he's telling the symptoms of sthita prajna. So sthita prajna, even he is involved in those worldly pleasure, but he doesn't have any satisfaction, right? Everybody knows answer, we talked so many times about this. So how exactly? The question is that how you reach to that state. What is the process? By engaging the devotions. So what exactly you do, it is not just stopping that, oh, I don't have a satisfaction in this, right? If somebody likes ice cream, he said, no, I will stop. I will not eat the ice cream, right? But that taste, that desire will be still in, right? So no use of doing that. So we have to basically, but like artificially, you cannot stop that, right? You have to engage the senses in connection to Krishna, right? Right. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Correct. So, yeah, as you rightly said, there are two things you mentioned, right? One is nobody will be satisfied, right? That is true. But it is clear for us because, we have connected to devotees, we are connected to Prabhupada. So it is clear for us, right? The knowledge is there. But many times, many people or souls out there, they are not aware of this. They don't know the difference also, whether I am governed by the senses or I am governing the senses. If somebody is very attached to drinking tea, right, and he thinks that what is the best thing for that is, whenever I want, I can have, we have microwave nowadays, we have these small sachets nowadays, so whenever we have, I can make tea and I can drink the tea, right? So that is the my enjoyment, or I am the controller, but in reality the tea is controlling that person, right? So that they don't understand. Yeah. And other point what you have mentioned is, actually what I have mentioned here is no satisfaction in the worldly pleasure. I am not saying that there is no satisfaction in worldly pleasure. He doesn't feel any satisfaction. in worldly pleasures. Right? Sita Prajna. Everybody clear? Right? So we know how it is possible, getting connected to Krishna consciousness, getting connected to devotional service, that is possible. That the things, like most of us have seen this happening in our life. The things which we are liking before, if you do that now, we feel very frustrated. Right? The movies which we were watching for 2 hours, 3 hours, if you watch for 10 minutes now, you will be crazy. You will feel what's going on. But the same things few years back, everybody of us were doing. Right? So, huh? Okay. Song, okay. Most favorite song, yeah. So the example given is of old songs where it was most favorite song, but now you don't make sense of it. Now the second point is he is satisfying in himself alone, him or herself alone, satisfaction in self alone. So how exactly that can be done? How can you be satisfied in self or alone? In yourself, how you will be satisfied? Anybody? Everybody knows the answer, I know, because everybody is doing that, trying to do that, is in the path. But we are trying to put in proper direction, in proper words. Right? Correct. That's correct. Yeah. So how you will get satisfaction in self when you know what is your real identity? So once you know, sorry, correct. Once you know your real identity, then what you do next is serving Krishna. And Rupa Goswami says how to serve: unmotivated and uninterrupted, unalloyed. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So everybody knows the answer. That's good. So everybody is Sthita Prajna here. At least we know that what is Sthita Prajna, right? It is good. So because one thing of knowing is we at least try to become that, right? Or we try to follow them. I'll go to the next one. Yeah, 2.56 translation if somebody. So one who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and one is free from attachment, fear and anger, it's called as sage of steady mind. I'll read the 57 as well, we'll take it together. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it or not despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So there are two things here, right? Is not disturbed is basically in 2.56 basically equipoised, right? And there are threefold miseries. We'll go over on that. But what exactly is equipoised? So why Sthita Prajna, right? We say when he is speaking, right? He is equipoised. Right? What exactly that equipoised? How he can be equipoised? Correct. So there are threefold miseries. Everybody is aware of threefold miseries. Always we read, we hear threefold miseries. There are three. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, threefold. So I have listed here. So Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik. Right. So Adhyatmik. So what is Adhyatmik miseries? Adhyatmik is our health, our body, our mind, whatever kleshas that is giving us. Say somebody is not well, So that is adhyatmic klesha. Somebody's mind is trying, agitating. That is adhyatmic klesha. These are the three kleshas. Very scientifically, scriptures have given this. Right? Second is Adi Bhautik. Adi Bhautik means around us, surrounding us. So surrounding us, whatever living entities are there, what they are impacting us, that is Adi Bhautik. So one mosquito coming and biting you, you have a klesha, Adi Bhautik. Your boss having issues, you have a klesha, Adi Bhautik. Yeah? And the last one is Adi Daivik. Adi Daivik is the calamities and whatever other calamities and devas doing, and because of their actions we have kleshas. Those are Adi Daivik. So he is away, or he is not impacted by all those kleshas. When he speaks, it's not impacted. So what happens many times, our reaction, that is speaking, is more reaction to somebody, whatever somebody is doing to us, right? If somebody is making us happy, we will be talking good. Somebody is making us angry or fearful, we will be reacting in different way. But the person who is equipoised or sthit prajna, he is away from this. Yeah? Right. Yeah, very very good question. If practically somebody doing some rubbish things, they are talking, what should we do? It depends on the situation. Why I say depends on? Not every situation we should react, right? First thing is, we have to understand that first, that state of mind we need to reach. How we will reach that state of mind? Let's first understand how we will reach that state of mind. How we will reach the equipoised state of mind. All kleshas, if we see all kleshas as Krishna's mercy, right? Isn't it? If we see that Krishna is doing this to me because he wants me to learn something, he wants me to come up from this situation, right? Then we will not get impacted by the klesha. In fact, that will become an opportunity rather than a klesha. Right? Then other thing I have mentioned is free from attachment, fear and anger. So how you will be free from attachment? How you get attached to something? Correct, that is the answer. But how you get attached to something? If you think that that is for my pleasure, right? But if you know your true identity, it is not for my pleasure, it is, I am servant of Krishna, it is for Krishna's pleasure. So you will not have that attachment. Fear, how you will be free from fear? What is fear? Correct, but fear is you have something and you are fearful that somebody will snatch it. We will lose it, right? The fear of losing, right? So how you will go away from that? Correct. Correct. So there is no attachment to those things. Then you know that it came to your life because Krishna wanted you to use that for Krishna's service. It went away from your life because that what Krishna wanted to do is done, or Krishna has some other plan, right? The last one is anger. So how you will get away from anger? Correct. Very good. Yeah. Expectation. So how many devotees are there? Maybe I'll repeat for them. So one. Okay. So the answer is actually that they will not have attachment to the result, right? what you have mentioned. So basically, if they are not attached to whether I'm successful or unsuccessful, then there will not be angry. Yeah. So this is the point. Yeah. Now going back to how we will do the question, what Naveen Prabhu had is, now why I said this, we have to do depending on you know circumstances. Yeah, depends. If somebody comes and he tells us rubbish things, what we'll do? Yes, correct, correct. Right. Actually, there are many things what you have mentioned um, that will lead to anger. What happens many times we just see anger, but if you analyze it correctly, you will see that there is a cause behind that anger, and that 100% time that cause is because of unfulfilled. So we are going to go exactly the step by step how exactly the anger comes. That is also in one of the verse we have. Right. So going back to Naveen Prabhu's question is, then why I say it depends. The question I will repeat, that if somebody comes and says something rubbish, then what we will do, right? We have to answer. It depends. Why I'm saying it depends on the circumstances, right? Sometimes in acharyas also did that some big jnani came to Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, and he said, I wanted to have discussion, and I want to make sure that I will win this discussion. So I challenge you. They said, no, we don't want to do. They just signed it and said that we already accept our loss and give. Why? Because they said we didn't want to spend time on, we have, instead of that, we will continue to do our seva. Right? But there is, their disciple, they became angry, and then they, fought against him. Jiva Goswami found again against them, against that person, and then he won. But that is what I'm saying. It depends. So circumstances. Sometimes you have to tell because you are basically guiding that person. If that person is ready to listen, sometimes you have to let it go. Right? Sometimes you just say Hare Krishna and move on. Okay. Right. So 2.57 also we covered. Basically, it is covering the point unaffected by good and evil, which we already covered. Because why the Sthita Prajna is unaffected and his speech is dependent on that? Because the material dualities, he is beyond the material dualities. Right? Material dualities are black, white, good, bad. Because he sees everything from Krishna's perspective. Right? Whatever happens is for Krishna's service. Right? Okay, so we'll go next. Now the next question is, how does he sit? Right? So the answer is in 58 and 59. So 58, I will read the translation. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise always draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So here actually the self-control is mentioned. An example of tortoise is given. So everybody is aware why the example of tortoise is given? Because tortoise has a strong covering, and whenever it finds that it is safer to come out, it comes out. Whenever it thinks that it is not, it doesn't want to use his body, it will just pull in. Right? So we have to do the same thing, and it should be reactive or reflexive. Right? Our senses, how we can do that? How we can do that? Right? How you can be like a tortoise? Right? That when you want to use your senses for Krishna service, you come out. The same senses, if there is something there, but it's not related to Krishna service, you don't want to take it out, you pull it in. Krishna mentioned that to Arjuna. Everybody knows the answer, right? Practice. You need to practice. But how you will practice? So that senses will work as per your plan, not you will work as per senses plan. Okay? How you will do that? So you will follow the scriptures, because scriptures have do's and don'ts, right? You basically come up with rules for yourself. What they say in worldly manner also, that you should live your life with with examples, or with some things which you will never compromise your values. So like that you can do this. In the purport, there is another example given, is snake charmer. Right? Everybody knows. Here in US they think India is a country of snake charmers. So we should know everything about snake. So snake charmer, he actually controls the snake, which is very poisonous. Senses are also venomous, right? Very poisonous. If you don't control, they will take you anywhere. So what he does, he actually makes sure that he controls 100% time that snake. So same thing, we have to control the senses 100% time. Right? Looks difficult, but if you follow, yeah, it is not easy. Yes, snake charmer job is not easy. Okay, so 59, very important verse. So we'll read, everybody repeat. We'll say verse also. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehine rasavrajam rasopi asya param drishta nivartate. Especially in this class, we might have heard param drishta nivartate many times. So I hope everybody is aware what is param drishta nivartate. Right? So there are two things here given, right? One is restrain. Right? So I will read translation. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the test for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So first thing is restrain, right? So how we will have that restraint? Is it easy? Everybody knows it is not. As you mentioned, it is not easy. And we know many examples that there are yogis, there are big practitioners of yogas. They fall down because of this, right? So how we will restrain it? By engaging them in Krishna's service. Yeah, it's the same answer what we have, right? What happens if we engage them in Krishna's service? Correct. They are not left idle to do whatever they want to do. Because sense, if you see, senses are such that they have to be engaged. Right? You can control, you can stop the engagement for some time. But as I told the examples of yogis and Mahayogis, that there will be some time then they will be just fall down on that. So you have to engage them in Krishna's service, right? So if you like ice cream, if somebody gives you ice cream, you don't take the ice cream, right? You are stopping, restraining yourself. But then you really want to have, you can make for Krishna, serve to Krishna, have it as Krishna's prasadam, as Mahaprasad. Yeah? So you are engaging your senses. In purport, there is an example of patient, right? They have some restriction on the patient. If patient has some disease, that they shouldn't eat A, B, C. But that restriction is there, but then he still has that taste to have that, to eat that. So we know there is. Now second point, param drishta nivartana. Higher taste. So everybody is aware about higher taste, right? Why we should have higher taste? Right. So what will happen with higher taste? Correct. Yeah. So we don't have to suppress artificially. What happens that ourselves will see what I was enjoying. I was giving example of these movies and other things. Right? There are so much higher and good things are there that we don't have to go back to these things which were not connected to Krishna. Okay. So everybody knows, we talked multiple times, right? We have so many things that we get connected to. We use our senses. Somebody wants to read, somebody wants to get a lot of knowledge. Nothing wrong in that. In right perspective, we should take that knowledge. If you really want to have knowledge, read Srimad Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita. There is so much information there, right? News, we should just be up to date, but we shouldn't spend time necessary, because many times what happened, it became a habit for us, right? I used to have that habit, especially the weather, right? For years that we are up to date with the weather, that what is happening, okay, snow is coming. So few months back or a year back, I decided, okay, I will not see weather at all. What will happen? I didn't find any difference, because if there is a big issue, people around you are already talking, so you know that snow is coming. So you don't have to spend time and understand, oh, there is 3 inch or 4 inch, oh no, there is 4.5 inches. Why to spend time? You will automatically get. And whatever you have to do, you have to anyway do. If you have to go office, even if it is a snow, you will go to office. Right? So I didn't see, in fact, I saved a lot of time in, other things rather than going to weather channel and other things and trying to find out more information. Yes. Correct. Right. So the question is actually, when you are studying, your mind is not in control. It wants to do some other things because you think this is not related to Krishna. Right? That is the reason. Right? See, that is what happens in us practitioners. What happens? We are half cooked. Right? What happens? We have this knowledge. We know that everything is material. Now we don't have taste in doing anything. I go to office, I get very frustrated. We have to meet all, we have to do all these things, or we do some other worldly things, right? So why that happens is basically we have not crossed that border of doing what is next, param drishta nivartana. So what is that border? That border is you are getting related to Krishna. So how you will get related to Krishna? First you need to understand that what is our, true identity. We are part and parcel of Krishna, right? If you don't do this, right, studying, what will, because that is your, as you said, secondary responsibility or duty. So if you don't do that, you will have more impact, right, which will impact in your service to Krishna, right? But the first important point is that why you are doing that. Right? You should do that and give that results to Krishna. How you will do that? You need to see that I want to study and I want to get best marks or best grades so that everybody can see that Krishna's devotee is doing wonderful things. How you will submit your results to Krishna? Only by doing that. Right? If somebody is not doing good because they are going to Krishna conscious circle or they are following temple, then it is not going to give good example. Right? Prabhupada says that if you want to do best. Right? Now, one aspect I mentioned, other aspect is mind wonders. Mind actually is designed to wonder. Right? So we need to have the previous verses what we have, the do's and don'ts. Even for our material day-to-day lives also. We should use our intelligence. What is our intelligence? Right? The intelligence is we are servant of Krishna. So whatever is needed to be servant of Krishna, I should do. Right? Is it clear? Okay, thank you. Okay, so higher test, everybody is aware. So I was giving example that how we can engage in higher test. If somebody likes to see beautiful things, because our eyes are that they want to see beautiful things, then you see Krishna. If you want to hear, somebody wants, they love music like anything, then they should hear more of kirtan. So what we are doing, we are actually transferring, right, our day-to-day activities. Right? I'll give an example. Everybody of us has done that, right? Our life before getting married, right, was different. Once you got married, whoever got married, you aligned everything. You didn't align just one small thing. You are not saying I am married only on Monday, right? You are aligning everything correctly. Same thing. We have to align everything for Krishna's service. So whatever we are doing, day-to-day activities, if we see there are some things that I'm spending more time in unnecessary things, I'm not saying that you immediately stop, but you do practice so that you move from there and spend more time in Krishna. If you hear music, yes, continue to hear music, but introduce kirtan also in that, and slowly you will see, you will hear more kirtan rather than that music. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go further. Sorry, Prabhu. Go ahead. Yeah. So if you can tell, your question is that whether that rap music is good or not. Correct. Yeah. So still, right. But there are, all the things are like that, right? In material world, everything is like that. Right? So livelihood it is creating, so that is good point. So people will continue to do that. Right? But devotees who are sadhakas are practicing, right? They need to, there is a rap music in Krishna also. You can do YouTube and see if somebody really likes rap music. Right? But your question is more, it is wrong in Krishna consciousness. Yes, that music is not correct for Krishna consciousness. But it is, yes, it is creating economical stability. But it is creating a lot of other problems also. Right? We are just seeing one phase. Okay, so 2.60. If somebody can read the translation. Correct. So again, the senses, power of senses. So can we control the senses? Yeah, same thing Krishna is actually repeating and telling. Same things he is emphasizing, right? Can we control the senses? Right? We know the answer. We just covered that. Yes, we can, but we want two things: restrain, right, and higher taste. Right? Restraint is really required if higher taste is there. No, right? So why we need restraint? But correct. So restraint is needed that until we reach to the higher taste, right? So I think we should understand that difference, right? Yes. Right. Correct. There is actually main point. There is just one main point. The main point is everything is designed here for satisfying our senses. Right? In Varnashram Dharma, everything was designed so that everybody will follow path of devotional service or path of spiritual enlightenment. Right? There may be some miscreants there as well. I'm not saying no. They may have some other things going on, but the structure or predominantly it was towards God consciousness. It last week we covered some things on that. That the whole um, Vedic culture was towards that. That every upliftment of that person, whatever varna, whatever ashram they may be, but the main rules and regulation were like that. 2.61. Let me just see. Yeah, if somebody can say that. 2.61. Steady intelligence. So again, steady intelligence. So what exactly we are doing? There are two things we are doing in studying intelligence. One is senses are under control. We know how we are doing that. But what another important thing is added here is fixes consciousness upon Krishna. Right? So steady intelligence. So definition of steady intelligence is what? Anybody? We covered that. So we are just putting in right perspective, right words. Correct. Threefold miseries. Yeah. One point only, because the reason I am asking this is there is some background to it. Most of the time we concentrate on intelligence because the definition what you have gave is more on intelligence, but we miss steady part of it. That means we have to do continuously this. That is important. Only sometime you are doing like this and other time you are not doing like this, or you are not in control, it will not work. Right? So that is very important. Right? Your senses are under control. That is one point. And then you are engaging actively, very enthusiastically in Krishna's service. Then only both things will happen. It will continuously happen. Right? Otherwise, you just control, control, control. You will not get anything at the end of the day. Right? Okay. So, any questions or any comments here? Okay. Now we'll go in the other part. Right? This is what I was mentioning. about before when we were talking about anger. So 2.62 and 63. Okay. So I will read the translation. Right? 2.62, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. I'll complete the 6.3 as well. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Very powerful verses. Very powerful verses. Given everybody is aware about senses, what they do, sense objects, what they do, right? How senses got attracts to sense objects. But this is the complete process that how we fall down again to material. Right? If you see this diagram, so first we are contemplating the objects of the senses. So contemplating, oh, I want to do that, I want it, I want it, I want it. Right? What that leads to. So you have attachment now, because you are so strong in getting that you are already changing your identity to have that, right? That attachment. So attachment develops into lust. Yeah, lust is wanting. You want. Yeah, most of the time lust we use for some other purposes. Yeah, but lust is basically you want something. Yeah? If lust is unfulfilled, then anger arises. Right? Most of the time, just going back to your question, most of the time what happens, the gross things you can easily see why anger is coming, but subtle thing which is related to your mind, false ego, is not obvious that why I am angry. We just think I am directly angry, but it is because your false ego is not satisfied. It's not unfulfilled. Yes. Avoid him. Correct, yes. Yeah, actually we covered similar instance before, Prabhuji asked. So, first thing, we don't know the background, right? What is the background, why that person is angry? Right? So, if you are dealing with that person regularly, then you really have to sit and plan that how you will deal this person. Right? Many times our plan will not work, right? But we need to plan and pray. Two things happens. I might have told my example. I had a very bad boss, right, a few years back. Very bad. I worked for so many years, but I never came across that kind of person. So, like one example I'll give. We will have some production issue. We'll work till 2 o'clock morning. I'm going in office at 10 o'clock. She's asking why you are late. I'm at 8:30 in the morning. Why you cannot come? We were there up till 2 o'clock, right? So struggle. Um, there is a struggle, right? If your boss is like that, that means your karma is like that. So you have to go through that purification process. So that is unavoidable. But the best part is that if you pray, prayer is very powerful. Krishna will tell you that there is something he wants us to learn from that. And Krishna taught me many things in that period. Many things. Right? And such things were so deep, few things were so deep that I never thought that I had this. Right? Those came out, and Krishna actually clearly mentioned, okay, so this is the problem, so you have to deal with this problem. So basically it was an opportunity to learn. So I'm not sure your um, what was your experience, that whether you have to deal that person again and again, or it was just casual or random things which you can just forget it. Another thing works, and which works with this boss also, and this Krishna's mercy, that I came from Jagannath Puri, right? So I was having a prasad in my desk, and I offered. She is not from Indian background, so she took that prasadam actually, and consciousness changed after that. I saw big difference after that. You know, there may be some material things also involved why her consciousness changed, but mainly I see that she had prasadam and consciousness changed. So if you have a chance, you please feed prasadam to that person, directly, indirectly. I'm not saying directly, because she didn't had that as a prasadam. She had as an Indian sweet. Yeah, she had that as an Indian sweet. Yeah, that is what I mentioned, right? That if you randomly you are doing, or you just hit that person, then you just avoid it. But you are dealing again and again, then you have to work out that. Yes. Right. Yeah, until we are pure, we will not have that clarity, right? So till that time, right, whatever best for that situation, you should do, and think that as a Krishna's arrangement. So what will happen if Krishna doesn't want that? That will not happen. Even if you take that decision, you understand the difference, right? So you consider that as Krishna's message, right? But you have to see the you with your intelligence, whether that is the right one or not. And pray. Prayers are very powerful. Prayers are powerful. We have to pray. If we cannot pray, we have to pray for praying. That I cannot pray. That works. Yes. Hmm. But you should avoid. That is what I mentioned. You should avoid. If that person has, that tendency, you should avoid, because it's not going to help you. It's not going to help that person. Drop it. Yes. Right. There is another aspect to it. Right. Little different aspect. Yeah. You know why that happens? That happens because of our karma. That person is coming in our life again and again, is because of our karma. Yes. Yeah. So we have to have same purification process. Our Guru Maharaj told a very nice example or story about this. Right. I think once he was in Vrindavan and he was chanting under a tree. Right. And then there was one, the black ants, big ant. So he just actually, pushed that ant away. Right. That ant flew and dropped on another ant, dashed to another ant, and they both ants started fighting. So what happened here? Actually, that ant didn't do anything, but he came and the other ant is thinking that he is angry on me, and he started fighting. So karma actually has that hand, right? It is making that person, because we don't know, we cannot just generally tell, right? That we don't know the background of that person, why he's coming from that attitude. So we should take that as this way. There's another aspect I wanted to tell. Right? If you don't want to, then we have to chant purely. Pure chanting. There are only two ways. Right? I told many times to devotees, there are only two ways to get rid of our karma. You go through the karma, purify yourself, or do pure chanting. That will clean. All karma will be gone. Will be clean. You will get a clean. That will be also clean, because that your karma will be clean. Yes. We shouldn't say for Prabhupada. Yeah, because that is the problem what we have. That's the reason we hold this session. Is one of the reason is we want to know the Sthita Prajna. There are some verses where, and I want to warn everybody about that. Yeah, we don't, for Vaishnavas, we shouldn't judge directly. We have to be very, very careful. Even if we think that is right, we shouldn't think that way. That no, it may be some reason that Vaishnava is doing like that, because we don't know the real reason, right? Prabhupada is coming from different background. He got angry many times. Prabhupada was angry. Our Guru Maharaj gets angry because I saw him. He gets angry many times. But their anger is different. They're not angry because they want something. We are angry because we want something. They are angry. You take example of your, if you have a small kid, right? Not necessarily you are angry because you want something from that kid. You want that kid to learn something. Right? So there is a difference. So we have to be very careful when we are judging Sthita Prajna. Okay. Sorry, did I do? No. Okay, hold on. Yeah, sorry. I think I didn't go through all steps, right? So, yeah, I will go. So if lust is unfulfilled, anger arises. So everybody knows now. Anger leads to complete delusion. So somebody takes control of your brain intelligence. What you think is totally different than what is reality. Right? I should put other way around. What is reality, you think totally different. Your delusion. Right? And then bewilderment of your memory. So what happens? That you lose your sense of right and wrong. Right? And the memory part is actually, it is supposed to remind you what is right or what is wrong. Right? Then intelligence is lost and you falls down again to material. So this is the process of fall down. So if we cut the roots, then we will not come to this point. Yeah. In the purport there is some information about Falgu Vairagya. I think everybody is aware of Falgu Vairagya is basically superficial Vairagya. So in purport you should read the purport. You will understand that superficial Vairagya will not help in this case. That is what it will bound to happen. The same steps will bound to happen even if you have Falgu Vairagya. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Correct. See, attachment has sense of ownership. Affection doesn't have sense of ownership. Attachment is like I own this, so I want this. Krishna, that's correct. Then it is affection. So we'll go to next 2.60, 2.60. Did I go? Yeah, that is what I was thinking. Sorry, 2.64. So I'll read the translation and try to wrap up quickly. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Big sentence. Right? So I think we covered this. Anybody has any questions like how we do this? Everybody's okay? So this is actually benefits of Sthita Prajna, what is happening. So we transcend all attachments and aversions, whatever we have, little fight, that all. Yeah? Okay. So 2.65. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Same thing. What is the advantages or benefits? Right? We covered this. Any questions on this? This is what you will get as a part and parcel. Yeah. Threefold miseries actually we went in detail few slides back. So I will briefly cover, but you can go back to the slides. Threefold is actually there are threefold kleshas or miseries we have. Right? So Adhyatmic, Adibhautik and Adidevik. Kleshas because of our mind and body. Kleshas because of other persons, other living entities. Kleshas because of natural disasters or some big things. So these are all threefold miseries. These are actually the kleshas what we have in material world. So we'll do 66. This is little different, little contrast to what we have done. So 66 is saying one who is not connected with Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So it is other than what we have seen in 2.65. So totally opposite. But still it proves the same point. If you have, you will get this benefit. If you don't have, you will have these issues. Right? So I put the bullet points that clearly mentions what exactly. So we'll miss the transcendental intelligence. So we'll miss the our identity. That is what transcendental intelligence is. So your mind will not be steady. So if mind is not steady, there is no question of peace. If you don't have peace, then how you will get happiness? Okay. Okay. 2.67. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a mind's intelligence. Very important, right? So there is one important thing in this. What is it? In this translation or in this verse? Correct. Yeah. So you cannot say I do everything, but only one thing I'm doing this something, because that one thing can pull you down very badly. So this is very important words, right? And here I wanted to give example, right? And I mentioned one question which we already covered. What is the correct technique? The correct technique is connect, connecting everything with Krishna. All the activities, all the senses, what we are doing. Even if we cannot do, you try, we practice, right? As I gave example of, after we got married, we changed so many things in our life. Many of devotees have kids. Whole life is changed, right? We have aligned our priorities with our better half. We aligned our priorities with kids. We aligned with so same thing we have to do. We have to align everything what we are doing with Krishna consciousness. So very good example is Maharaj Ambarish. So everybody knows Maharaj Ambarish story, no? So Maharaj Ambarish was a very great king, Rajarshi. So the story is, I'll tell the story first and then we can discuss about his characteristics. I think we have some time. Today we'll go a little bit more. So Maharaj Ambarish was great king, and one he was doing fasting, and then like next day when we break the fast, before that Durvasa Muni comes, and then Durvasa Muni says that okay, I am coming to you. So he actually welcomes him. Durvasa Muni says that I will go take bath, come back, and then we'll have prasadam together, right? So Maharaj Ambarish waits for him, but the Parayan time, right, fast breaking time is near, and if fast breaking is not done in that Parayan time, then you don't get complete benefit of that fasting, right? So Ambarish Maharaj consults with his ministers that what should I do, because if I wait for Durvasa Muni, then I will lose this benefits of the fasting. It's as good as not fasting, and if I eat, that is insult, that is not a right etiquette. So what I should do? So ministers discuss and they say you can just take a sip of water, right? It's not like eating, but you have still broke your fast at right time. He does that. Durvasa Muni comes and then he becomes very angry. Actually, you know how Durvasa Muni is, that through their first he is very angry, and through his potency he knows that Maharaj Ambarish has already done this. So he becomes very angry, takes his one hair, puts it on the ground. A big and very dangerous demon comes, and he wants to kill Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish is not reacting to it. Yeah? He is equipoised. He is very good example of Maharaj Ambarish. Yeah, equipoised. He is not. He's thinking that whatever is, this is Krishna's. He's not protesting also, because he is also a very powerful king, very powerful yogi himself. He's Rajashri, but he is not protesting against Durvasa. But there in Vaikuntha, Krishna's in Goloka, Krishna will see, and he sends his Sudarshan immediately by speed of mind. Sudarshan kills that demon because he wants to protect his devotee. Krishna wants to protect his devotee, and then Sudarshan is behind Durvasa now. Durvasa is running around everywhere. Nobody is able to stop Sudarshan, and Sudarshan is trying to kill. He goes to Krishna also, Durvasa Muni. Krishna says, no, I cannot do anything. You have to go to Ambarish Maharaj only. He goes to Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj actually tells, no, you shouldn't kill. So Sudarshan actually stops. Durvasa Muni gets saved. So Ambarish Maharaj actually wins this way. Right? So Ambarish Maharaj, it is given that he was having a perfect 100% senses. All his senses were for Krishna's service. They were given examples also, right? His eyes he was using to see the deities. His speech he was using to tell about Krishna, talk about Krishna. His mouth he was eating, having Krishna prasadam only. His body or sense of touch he was using for hugging devotees only. He was using his hands to clean the temples. Okay? He was using his ears to hear about Krishna. He was using his legs to go through the dhama or temples. So everything he was using for Krishna. All the senses, 100% he was using for Krishna. And that's the reason he was equipoised. That's the reason he didn't react. And there was a demon, big demon trying to kill him. He was equally strong because he was a king or ruler of the whole, planet. Family with him. He was king himself, big king. So our family is very small. King's family is usually very big, and he has lot of other problems. I know where you are going. Correct. So no, see what is BB Bache? This is extension, right? The extension is you think that it is more issues they will, but as a king, you imagine what issues he will have, right? But how he was 100% in Krishna, because everything he was seeing as Krishna's arrangement. Everything he was seeing that this is for Krishna I am doing. This problem I am solving for Krishna. This kingdom I am taking care as Krishna's property. Is it difficult for us to do? It is actually. Why you are saying no? It is difficult actually for us. You are right. But in Bhagavatam and in scriptures it is given that how we can do this. We can follow Guru. Take a guidance of Guru to do this. Then we will be able to. So Krishna and Guru. What Arjuna is doing here. Right? Arjuna is following Krishna's orders. Right? He is following his all whatever instructions. Right? We shouldn't just say, yes, I am your disciple, but I don't want to follow your instructions. Right? So if we follow the instructions, then we will be also able to do this. Right? Because for me it is logical. If you can, also tell me if it is not, right? Material world is very, very complicated, right? We will not be able to fight ourselves alone. We will need an art of fighting to do that. How we will learn that art of fighting? Somebody who is experienced, right? He will give that instruction. He will give that information. Through their guidance, we can do this. Yeah? Okay. Any questions, comments? We will quickly wrap this. Let me see how much is there. Okay, so two more. So how does he walk? So as if everybody remembers, walk means the deeper meaning was how he engages his senses. Right? We covered most of the part. I have given the questions, what is study intelligence? We already covered study intelligence. So why we have to do that? I didn't cover directly, but we can do that because we all are sadhakas. So that is what we need to do. We should have study intelligence. If we don't have study intelligence, then what will happen? Correct, fall down. We know that, right? If you really, put yourself in learning swimming, you have to jump in water. Right? So you have to take training. That is what I meant. You have to follow those instructions. And how you are doing, right? How we have the study intelligence. I briefly told, like just answering Mataji's question, is follow Guru, right? Follow Krishna, and that art we will learn. Okay. 2.69 and 2.70. I'll just briefly do this. So what is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So this is the same point which I was mentioning, that Sthita Prajna, what they are doing, right? That may be similar to what we are seeing some mundane person is doing. But there is a big difference. It's like a day and night's difference in their activities, because the consciousness is different on that. So this verse and its purport, I think we should read that when you get. Today we have less time. 2.70 is related to ocean and river. I will explain that. A person who is not disturbed by, that is to, yeah, incessant flow of the desires that enter like a rivers into the oceans, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. So in the purport, and Acharyas has given comparison of ocean and river. What happens to river? Sometimes river is bulged or full. Sometimes river is small or just stream, because there is something coming inside, because of that it is bulging. So happiness is coming, so it's bulging, but distress is coming, so it is just small or stream, right? So that is what materialistic. If you are happy, happiest moments are there, you are very happy and you are like a full. But if there are distress, then you are very pathetic. Yeah? But devotees are not like that. They are always full, because the distress and happiness, they are treating them as same. They are away from the duality. Why they are away from the dualities? Because they know their true identity. Okay? Same point we are doing. Any questions here? So yeah, 71 and 72, very important. Maybe if you allow me for 5 more minutes, everybody. Yeah, may not take 5 minutes, but just taking more. 71. A person who has given up all the desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all senses of proprietorship and are devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Okay. I wanted to read purport, because here actually more emphasis is given is away from desire, basically desirelessness. So what exactly desirelessness is? And Prabhupada has given perfect purport for this, perfect answer for this. So if you read maybe a couple of lines, we will read. To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna consciousness is actually desireless. So nicely put. So if you are ready to be Krishna consciousness, you are actually desireless. Right? So this is what we should do. Right? How we will do that? What is Krishna conscious means? That Krishna is supreme. Right? Everybody knows. I'm just repeating, emphasizing more. What is Krishna consciousness means? Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything. We are part and parcel of him, and we are servant. So our constitutional position is to serve him. Right? So that will take away from false ego, that will take away from proprietorship. So because desire comes with because of proprietorship and false ego. Right? So Krishna consciousness, if everybody of you are doing that, everybody of us are desireless. Yeah? Yeah, we don't feel that way, but if you read Prabhupada's purport, we are really trying, then our intents are like that, we are going one step closer to it. 2.72 is the conclusion of chapter 2nd. It was a big chapter. Chapter 2nd was, everybody knows the heading, right? Chapter title of chapter 2nd. Contents of the Gita summarized. So Gita is summarized in chapter 2. This is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given this, because chapter 2, as you saw, we covered about Jnana Yoga, we covered about Karma Yoga. There were some glimpses of Bhakti Yoga also. And whole Bhagavad Gita is about these things. So that's the reason it is in Gita's content summarized. Yeah? Any questions, comments? Okay. Yes, Mother. Purification. Yes. Yes, Mother. Because those obstacles are actually because of our karma, right? So those will go. No, as soon as you do pure chanting, right? What is pure chanting? It will be gone. Yes. Pure chanting. Crying like a baby for Krishna. Yeah. Otherwise, everybody will be cleaning up their karma. Right? It is not actually, because purification process could be very painful. Right? No, not necessary. Right? No, but first thing is no, no. There are many souls. They go to purification process. Still, their minds are not clean. They do same mistakes again. So it's not like second is not dependent on the first. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no questions, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.